Welcome to the Serendipitous Rebel podcast. I'm Wendy.
And I'm Crystal. This podcast is for the adventure-loving, purpose-driven, action-minded, authentic, and rebellious entrepreneurs.
Just like us. And just like you, we are trying to figure shit out. So join us as we talk about business and life and everything in between. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the current episode of the Serendipitous Rebel. Two entrepreneurs trying to figure shit out. Hi, I'm Wendy, and I'm here with Crystal. Our topic today actually comes from something that happened to me recently. I had realized that I had amped up my workout schedule in order to hit a goal. Now that I hit the goal, all of a sudden it dawned on me, why am I still doing this same schedule? It took a little glitch in technology, surprise, to give me an opportunity to step back and say, wait a second. Using this as an example, Crystal and I were talking about, really, this fits almost any element of our lives that are, when we're goal oriented. For most of us, we set goals, especially in our businesses. And really, at what point do you have to ramp up? And then at what point do you say, okay, I've hit that goal and I've set a new goal, but do I have to continue at the same pace? It's a matter of pacing. And I think all of us are different in terms of pacing. I think even you are different, Crystal.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. Definitely. So for reference too, for everybody listening, Wendy was doing how many classes a week?
Oh God. So I was doing, do I really want to say it?
I kind of want, if you're comfortable with it, just I want to really highlight it.
Okay. We have this thing where for Pilates, how many classes do you take? It's kind of like a participation where when you take a class, you get a little check kind of thing. And trying to hit let's see, the milestone was 500 classes. I normally do, on normal circumstances, will do like 2 classes a day, two back-to-back classes a day, which very comfortable with, it really is a good flow. But I had ramped it up, and that would be 5 days a week. So 10 classes, let's say. I had actually ramped it up to 3 to 4 classes a day, between like 15, it was 15 to 18 classes a week. And again, I was super comfortable with it. I wasn't worried that I was overtaxing myself or stressing. I was sore, but that's happening no matter what. And I was doing this for long enough that, like I said, there was a glitch in the ability to sign up for classes that made me take a step back and realize, is this really what I want to do with my entire day? But anyway.
So the reason I kind of wanted to illustrate it too for people to understand when we talk about intensity, that's intense. That's an intense pacing. It also was head and shoulders above a normal pacing schedule for you.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So when you're a business owner, there's going to be different seasons in your business where we have to have a higher pacing for things, and you have to build up that intensity. But maintaining that intensity every single day, 365 days a year, is not sustainable.
No, something has to give.
Something has to give. So I think it really, when Wendy and I were talking about this, and she was having her moment on Voxer about not being able to sign up for her class, and I asked the question, why are you doing this? Which I think is a really good, important question to ask yourself, no matter what you're doing, whether it's signing up for a bajillion workout classes or anything else that you're doing in the business, and you're stressed out and you are anxious and you really want to get this done. Well, why? Why is this important? And why do you want to do this? being able to ask yourself, okay, at what point can you put your foot on the gas and accelerate a little bit harder in the season? Because maybe you're in the middle of a launch, or you're getting ready to do a new program, or, right now we're launching this podcast and we're getting ready to launch something in Serendipitous Rebels. So our foot's a little bit more on the gas than normal. But ideally, we got into entrepreneurship to have flexibility in our days and our schedule. And so to find a little bit of a better pacing, it's nice to have seasons in your business where you can let it off, because keeping your foot on that accelerator 24/7, that's when we lead to burnout.
Oh, definitely. And sometimes also for entrepreneurs, if it's that constant steady acceleration, or just my foot, the pedal to the metal, and that's the only way I know how to go, you burn out or you lose interest. I'm project driven. So even though Serendipitous Rebel is the business, I really need to look at things in terms of, oh, the podcast is a project. Oh, this is the particular season of the podcast. So I don't necessarily think to season 2 or season 3 or anything like that, because what needs to be done to complete this particular project? Like, what needs to be done to reach 500 classes? And I think then it's the natural next thing is, okay, I can set another goal. Because it really, ultimately, it's all about setting goals which directly relate to your purpose, to why as you said, your why, and having everything aligned. I think that it's really important always to be evaluating. But like, before you set the next goal, my next goal is 750 classes. I promise it's going to take me a little bit of time to get there. I have mathematical formulas set up that say exactly when am I going to reach that goal, with a little bit of a sliding scale.
Well, I think that's important in goal setting. You have to know the end result. Goals should have deadlines, they should have objectives, and they should have milestones.
Yes, exactly.
Along the way. That's beautiful. That's exactly the way it should be, but it should have a pacing. Because were not going to get from 500 to 750 in 1 week.
Oh, dear God, no. That would, yes, on many levels. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good if I did one workout class a week, and Wendy knocked out like 30. It's hilarious.
Well, but you also chase around children much more than I do these days.
Yeah, my kids are much smaller and less self.
I think it's such an interesting, the whole concept of pacing. Because, and it ties into what we talk about all the time. It ties into knowing your why. It ties into having systems in place. Really, and it ties into trial and error. You see if it works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. Whatever it is, and then you want to fall into just a natural, comfortable. You wake up in the morning. You're super excited about what you're doing. You know the valleys and the ups and the downs of your day. We talk about, I think fortunately we're both more late morning-ish. I think you hit either one of us at 3:00 in the afternoon, and I'm much happier on the couch not snoring, but on the couch.
Yes, the time.
Cuddled with the puppy until the kids get home, kind of thing. These are the things that entrepreneurs, they don't really tell you about. We like to think that we serve a purpose of just like throwing open the curtains and saying, this is a little bit about the down and dirty, the messy stuff that you need to know. And it's not a matter of dissuading people. It's just, again, being a little realistic that they don't really tell you how much time you have to actually spend figuring shit out in your business.
Yeah, because there is a time period and a time frame that's realistic to get things launched, to get things out to market, to get things done. And I don't care if you are a coach, or if you're a service provider, if you sell a product, it takes time to deliver your services or your product or your coaching to the world. It also takes time on the back end in your business to get everything ready to go. Your business doesn't magically just happen. And so we've had that problem in past businesses where the pacing hasn't been on point. It did lead to burnout. It did lead to big crash and burn, because we could not maintain the high pace of launching this and launching this and launching this and launching that. And not only could we not maintain the pace, our audience couldn't maintain the pacing of it either, because you need audiences to buy. And if you're constantly throwing out a new product or a new course monthly, and you're constantly in sell mode, eventually people turn you off as well. But yeah, you lose interest. You're not passionate about it either. So finding a way to have seasons in your business of selling and promoting and relationship building, also recharging and rejuvenating.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Thing is, and I'm saying this publicly right now, like we've talked about taking off, just shutting down, isn't it August and December? Mm-hmm. We didn't really talk about it for this August but anyway, I'm putting it out there. December, we're taking.
It's about setting the realistic expectation of, okay, what are our priorities? Our priorities are families. Our priorities are holiday seasons. It's our incorporating, different traditions and religious traditions into our families. It's being able to take the time to focus on those things. Mm-hmm. And then also taking the time to really shut down, turn our brains off and recharge, because our batteries are drained at a certain point. And we need the ability to say, I need to take a minute.
That's right. Yeah.
I need to have a slower pace.
Yeah.
I need in seasons to be able to have my 3:00 in the afternoon siesta because my brain doesn't function anymore. And it gets to be a point where you're not even efficient in what you're doing anymore, because you're so burnt out, or you show up with so much resentment in your business because you're putting in so many hours and it is so intense that you need the time to rest and recharge. I mean, we just got back from taking entrepreneurs to Costa Rica. That ability to step out of our businesses and step out of our lives and have that slower pacing. It was a change in the routine, a change in the habit that was incredibly fortunate. But likewise, we couldn't maintain that pacing 24/7 in our businesses. As much as I would like to move to Costa Rica and just pure vida all the time.
And, what's also interesting is coming back from that. And I highly suggest if you have the opportunity to really get away, and I've planned, I've been involved with masterminding at various degrees my entire career, and to be and the adventure side of it. Anyway, it's an incredible combination. If you have an opportunity to take part in anything like that, I cannot recommend it enough. But the interesting thing also is when you re-enter and you come back, it is such a great opportunity to do some self-reflection and evaluation of how to do things. I don't know, because we've been back now for, I guess 3 weeks. Yeah, almost a month. Maybe something like that, 3 weeks, a month, something like that. And I realized that had I not had that experience, and also I will admit that re-entry can be a little bit, especially when you're planning things, because then it's like, and this is also important for pacing and understanding that once you've actually reached a goal, reached a milestone, achieved something, there always is a little bit of that letdown, like, oh, it's over. What do I do next? Mm-hmm. So it's actually wonderful to know what you need to do next, so you're not floundering. But at the same time, to take a step back, to acknowledge the fact that, yes, this is, you've achieved something, you do your celebrating, and you look at and evaluate and reflect, are there changes that I can make? So for me, it's, and some people may say, well, your workout schedule shouldn't affect your job. Well, for me, it actually does, because I carve out very large chunks of my day to either row, or go to Pilates or row. And in order to be an effective and productive partner, I have to make sure that I allow time. And yes. So anyway.
No, but again, you had a priority that is tied to your purpose and tied to where it is that you want to be.
Exactly.
And you have built that in first, and then you have set realistic goals around your business that fit into that so that you can find that balance.
Right.
And I think a lot of people aren't as intentional about it as you are. I think a lot of people say, I want to work out. I'm raising my hand here. And say, I want to work out more, or I want to have a healthy lifestyle. I want to have long life, but we're not intentionally building in that time the way that you are.
Sure. We have kids of different ages. So there are different priorities. And when my kids were younger, that was always the number one priority.
Right.
And like built in much more family time than I do, because my want to spend that much time with me.
Wendy's got high schoolers. They're not interested.
Yes. And I'll be an empty nester before I know it. It is. And and also the fact that we've done the solopreneur thing. Mm-hmm. And I've had other entrepreneurs say, well, why would you want to take on a partnership? Why? Because there's a lot of reasons. One, I'm a very social human being. I like having the camaraderie. I like having the partnership. I like voxing. Anyway, again, that would be about boxing. I thoroughly enjoy that. Also, if I am doing everything myself, oh Lord, forget it. It actually just doesn't get done. As I'm far more productive in our arrangement than I have ever been on my own.
Yeah, but it's just recognizing like your pacing and what your capacity is too in your pacing. Because if Wendy said, I am a big proponent of using my calendar and time blocking my calendar, and my family time is built in, including my morning family time. Most to be realistic about what I'm available to get done during the day. I can look at my calendar very easily and know after 4:00, I cannot work. I have to pick my kids up, and that time frame is even shorter now because I have to pick my daughter up every day. She can't ride the bus. So knowing that, I know, okay, I can only work between these hours and these hours. Knowing that forces me in my business to have longer runways for launches. It forces me to say, we're not going to launch that event next week. We're going to launch it on this date, and set realistic deadlines, because I can visually see what my availability is, and I can visually say yes or no to commit to this project, to commit to that project. I had somebody on the phone with me this morning asking about doing some marketing services. And I could realistically then say, yes, but I can't meet your deadline. It has to be a week later or 2 weeks later, and set realistic pacing and realistic budgeting of my time, because I just know where I'm at and all of the things that I'm doing. And I think that that's really good and really good to know. What I love about Wendy is she's really non-negotiable about her prioritized time to do certain things. I think a lot of entrepreneurs look down on that, and we want to wear busy as this badge of honor that I work 100-hour a week as an entrepreneur. While there's seasons that we've done that, and seasons where that's important, and seasons where that's okay, I think if you're doing that every single day for 10 years, one of two things happens. You're either completely burnt out and you've hit a brick wall, or if you take really good stock at the other areas of your life, something else hit a brick wall along the way.
It's funny you say that. I remember one of my first jobs out of college where they would keep track of how many of like our timesheets. If you didn't log in 50-hour weeks, you were like a loser. And look back, and it's funny. I have very few regrets in life, but there is a regret that I missed a friend's wedding. I had to work. When I look back again, I have very few regrets. That would be one of the biggest ones, that I allowed a job to get in the way of a friendship. It destroyed, actually, that whole thing, it destroyed a friendship. It was my own fault. It was my own doing. But it was this whole concept of, well, it talks about priorities. It talks about, and I look back and I'm like, and what did I get out of it? Looking quite a few years later down the road, what did I get out of it? And I think that now it's such a different way to look at things. Back and tell my 20-something self, anyway, I can't, but if I could, I
work
would.
less, party more. Work less, party more.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think I wouldn't have survived if I partied more.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Well, seasons are natural too. Like we have seasons in nature. There are tides. There's a natural ebb and flow. There's moon phases and moon cycles. You guys, this is biological, it's natural. And so I don't know why we wouldn't have the same thing in our businesses and in our personal lives too. Wendy and I are in different seasons of life. Mm-hmm. She has older kids. I'm going to out her. She's older than I am.
Oh, I'm old.
We are in different seasons of life. And oftentimes we have to acknowledge that as business partners and as friends when schedules don't mesh up as easily as we would like it to, or when we have competing priorities. And again, just acknowledging that in your business and being really realistic about that is a very healthy way to be, because I think a lot of people live in denial about the season of life that they're in.
Yes.
And try to force things that really are not going to work because we're not acknowledging, hey, I think you're in a season in life where you need to ease up off the gas a little bit and take stock of like what's going on around you. Or in some cases, we should just slam on the brakes entirely. In other areas, also acknowledging like, hey, this is the time where we need to step it up. So we need to shift some priorities. Like in launch week, very realistic about the fact that, hey, I can't pick up the kids every day this week. I got way too many other things going on. I need help. So I either need to hire help or I need to really nag on my hubby a little bit more, but then he's going to have to give up other things in his area, in his life too. He's going to have to take his foot off the gas and he's going to have to put it more here at home. So, and that's just a natural ebb and flow of things.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I don't think that's true.
Not even going to try. But I hope that our listeners can take away that pacing is really important. There are times when ramping up is so appropriate, and not only appropriate, but required in what we do to achieve our goals, and making sure our goals are very much in alignment with who we are and where we are in our lives. And also being able to say, I need to put the brakes on things. I remember for a long time, I would, as a meeting planner, I would do a meeting that would take a year to plan, but it happened every January. And the letdown feeling when you finish something just monumental. But whenever an entrepreneur, whenever you have a launch, whenever you finish a group program, whatever it is, there's generally a letdown feeling that comes with that. The thing I've always found is that's where you do something to celebrate. I would travel. I would go off and see the world in January, which is such a lovely month. But anyway, but that was my way of bringing closure to one thing and opening to another. I can't recommend that enough as well.
So I think, again, you're just finding the seasons in your life and you're finding your way to do that.
Exactly. Thanks everyone for listening to me ramble on a bit. Crystal's not a rambler.
That's not true at all. Wendy will buy her. No.
Yeah, many things in that as well.
No, not at all.
Thank you so much for listening. Please, we'd love to know what you think. What season are you in? Love to know.
Are you going to ramp up or slow down?
Yeah. And we will continue to figure shit out as we go along. And until next time.
Enjoy your pacing.
Exactly. And we'll see you again real soon. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a rating.
But only if you liked it. Otherwise, just keep it to yourself.
You can learn more about our upcoming masterminding opportunities on our website at serendipitousrebel.com.
And if you have topics you'd like to hear about, be sure to submit them on our website or DM us on social media.
Hey, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.